So imagine this for a second. A history that isn't just carved in stone by emperors, but is woven into poetry by poets. A story where the everyday lives of farmers, the love stories of just regular people, are treated as just as important as the huge battles of kings. Today, we're diving into a civilization whose entire memory is preserved in one of the world's truly great literary traditions. It really gets you thinking, right? How is a history actually remembered? Is it all about the giant monuments that rulers leave behind? Or is there another way, a more personal way for the past to speak to us? Okay, let's break this down. On the one hand, you've got your royal inscriptions. You know, the official story, the one that's all about power, who's in charge, and who won the last war. But the story we're exploring today, it comes from a totally different place, Sangam poetry. And this is the story of the people. It captures everything from the noise and chaos of a marketplace to the quiet, private moments of love and loss. It's history with a heartbeat. We are talking about the Sangam age, a true golden era in South India that lasted for about 600 years, 6 centuries. This wasn't just a time of kingdoms and trade. It was an age that was really defined by its incredible literature and culture. So what does Sangam even mean? Well, literally, it means an assembly or a gathering. The legends tell of these three huge assemblies of poets and scholars in the great city of Madurai. But what's really cool is that the true meaning of Sangam isn't just about the meetings themselves. It's the massive, incredible body of literature they created, a collection that gives us this unparalleled window into their entire world. So who was running the show during this literary golden age? Well, the poems, they paint this picture not of one single unified empire, but of a really dynamic and, frankly, often competitive region ruled by three major dynasties. And here they are, the three crowned kings. Over in the west, you had the Cheras, the super fertile Kaveri River Valley, that was the heartland of the Cholas, and ruling from the amazing city of Madurai were the Pandyas. Now, these guys weren't exactly friendly neighbors. They were in this constant dance of war and alliance and rivalry, and lucky for us, the poets of the age captured every single dramatic move. But here's what's so fascinating about all this. These kings, they weren't just warriors. They were smart. They totally understood that real immortality, the kind that lasts, wasn't just won on the battlefield. No, it was secured in verse. So they sponsored the poets, and in return, those poets gave them a legacy that would outlast any castle made of stone or any sword made of steel. Okay, but this is where the Sangam literature becomes truly unique. It goes way beyond the royal courts and gives us this incredibly vivid picture of everyday life. We actually get to hear the voices of people from all walks of life. And this society was so diverse. I mean, the poems are just filled with descriptions of farmers working in the fields, fishermen out on the coast, and traders bustling in the cities. And what's really remarkable is that this intellectual world wasn't just a boys' club, not at all. We find these highly respected and celebrated women poets, like the famous Avyar, whose wisdom and words were incredibly valued. And that brings us to a core value of this entire culture, honor. One of the most powerful symbols of this was something called the Natakal, or the hero stone. These weren't just monuments, they were special memorial stones set up all across the land. And these stones, they weren't just grave markers. They were public statements, declarations of the values this society held dear: courage, loyalty, and making the ultimate sacrifice for your community. The poems tell us that to die in battle and be remembered with a hero stone, well, that was a great honor. Now, you might be thinking that this vibrant society was kind of isolated, but you'd be totally wrong. Far from it. During the Sangam age, this whole region, known as Tamilakam, was a major hub in a thriving international trade network. Just try to picture it. Ports like Puhar, Musiri, and Korkai were these buzzing cosmopolitan centers. You'd see ships with massive sails arriving from clear across the ocean, even from as far away as the Roman Empire, their decks just packed with goods and merchants from all these distant lands. So what was all this trade about? Well, it was a two-way street. The region was exporting all these high-demand luxury goods. Pepper, which was so valuable they called it black gold, beautifully fine cottons, ivory, and stunning pearls. And what came back in return? Roman gold, wine, and powerful horses. This wasn't just simple trade. It was the engine that made the Tamil kingdoms incredibly wealthy. But, as they say, all golden ages must eventually come to an end. By around the 3rd century CE, the political structures of the Sangam era, they began to decline. But did the story end there? Not even close. While the reigns of the Cheras, Cholas, and Pandyas faded away for a while, their real legacy, the literature, endured. This incredible body of work became the cultural bedrock for all of South Indian civilization that came after, shaping its language, its values, and its art for thousands of years. Which, it leaves us with one final thought. The Sangam poets, they managed to capture their entire world in verse, giving it a kind of immortality. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? When future historians look back on our time, 2,000 years from now, what stories are they going to find, and who will be the ones telling them?